Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International. What we're going to look at today is from Modelcollect. This is their 1/72 BM-30, this Smirch multiple rocket launcher. So let's have a look inside, see what's in the box. Okay, so let's have a look, see what we get in the box. I'm just trying a different layout today. Actually, I've tidied up my workbench and made space to do the reviews on here, so we'll see how long I can manage to keep the workbench tidy enough to do that. So, good cover box. Modelcollect's usual sturdy box, sturdier than most. And there's nothing on the outside of the box other than images of this. So I'll just take the lid off. Inside we have their usual instructions. Images of this will be on the website, and we're also going to go through these step by step like we usually do and have a close-up look at some of the other parts. Essentially, like all their other kits, it's the same. All their other kits, it's the same transmission. Was it? This one's a gas truck, I think. I can't remember now. Some background to the material, to the kit down here. Yeah, it's on a MAZ 543A chassis. So same as a lot of their other kits that we've reviewed here. Same chassis up to this point. Then we get into particulars of this particular kit. Rocket launchers will go on the back. The cab with an interior. Lots of details. We've got two decal options on the back, although usually they give you extra decals, so you can sort of make it up as you go along a bit. Colour guides are by Ammo, and their references at the top there. They look pretty neat. So instructions are their usual good stuff. Then inside we have 4 bags. This first bag that's the rocket launchers, or the rockets and launchers. That's the main chassis, the MAZ. Bag with rubber wheels, soft rubber wheels. Bag with clear parts. Bag with decals and a bit of photo etch. I'll be back in a minute when I've opened up the bags. Okay, so what do we get? Usual stuff for the main chassis. Like I said, there'll be high resolution photographs of all these sprues and close-up views of the sprues on the website. You'll see some of them as we go through the rest of this video when I go through the instructions, but everything will be on the website, including more photographs than you'll see in this video. But the chassis here, usual level of detail, good small attachment points. The ejector pin marks are out the way, nothing to be concerned about at all. Good levels of details on the sprues, and pretty fine work for being done in plastic. And there's an engine, lots of interior details on these kits as well. Lots of fine detail on the actual plastic parts themselves. This is an extra one just for this kit. I can see these are parts of the rocket launchers, and a couple of identical ones here for the main chassis. A complete cab. I'll put usually 2 or 3 photographs of this will be on the website. Rubber tires are nice and soft and rubbery. I think if you look at the close-up photographs, you'll see there's usually some writing on sidewall writing as well. The rockets themselves, there is, how many of these sprues is there? 1, 2, 3, 6 sprues like this to make up the rockets and the tubes they go in. I think it's just the tips of the rockets you actually make up, because that's all you can see. But the tubes are all there. Usual clear parts, very nice. And the decals and the photo etch, I'll scan those and put them up on the website as well. But all in all, as you come to expect from Modelcollect, nice high detail, good sprues, nice recessed and raised detail on the sprues, good attachment points, basically everything looks good. So what we'll do now is we'll go through the instructions step by step and have a close look at a couple of parts to each step as we go through it. So let's have a look through the instructions and a close look at some of the key parts as we go through it. I'll put up the images of the sprues right now. As you can see, there's quite a lot of parts for a 1/72nd scale kit. It's nicely detailed, probably a bit more of a more complicated 1/72nd scale kit, but the attachment points are nice and small. Ejector pin marks are out the way, nothing to worry about. So overall, just looking basically at the sprues themselves, looks like quite a nice kit. Step 1 is reasonably straightforward, putting together the wheel hubs and attaching them to the two sides of the chassis. Some nice detail in here, quite a few small parts, but it'll look good. Step 2 puts together the engine. It's telling for the overall detail level of the kit that the engine is made up from, what I see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 parts, which is not bad for a 1/72nd scale engine. Step 3, really straightforward, just putting together the parts and assemblies you've made in the previous 2 steps. Step 4 is just adding some more larger pieces, fuel tanks and jacks to the main chassis. Step 5 might be the simplest of them all, putting 8 rubber wheels onto 8 hubs and attaching them to the chassis. Step 6 looks to add the main bed to the chassis and what looks like storage containers as well. Step 7 is another reasonably simple one, just adding some mudguards at the back and some smaller parts. Some of these are photo etch. It's the one thing I like about the Modelcollect kits is they break them down into nice, small, manageable pieces. Okay, step 8, we're now actually turning this into a BM-30. Previous to this, it was mostly chassis and a lot of very similar things to anything that's built on this chassis. But in step 8, we start putting together the missile tubes. Step 9 is putting together the launcher assembly that the tubes are going to sit on. As you see, there's nice details in all these parts. Step 10 is basically putting the whole rocket launcher assembly together. Putting together all the parts you made in part 8 and 9, bring them all together and make the whole launcher assembly. I might have been wrong when I said that previous step was perhaps the easiest. This one has to be the easiest, just putting the launchers onto the chassis. In step 12 we start building the cab. Noting this, there's actually 2 cabs. There's the driving cab at the front and there's also something akin to a control room that sits just behind the driver. And we start putting things together for that in this step. In step 13 we're continuing with the control room, put the roof on it and some doors. In step 14 we're putting together the driver's compartment at the front. And this is just the same as all the other kits on this chassis. And again, there's nice detail inside, 2 seats, a steering wheel. And step 15 is that nicely detailed one-piece cab exterior you see. Put the doors in, add in the clear parts and a bit more photo etch on the front here. And then on to the last step, step 16. Put the cab onto the chassis, couple of pieces of photo etch on the front, one on the top, one on the front, and then add that what seems to be was the final part is basically looks like a guard that goes underneath the engine at the front there, and then that's the kit built. In this kit you get 2 decal options or paint options at the back of the instructions. One's in overall green, one's in a 3-colour camouflage, colour callouts so with ammo paints, which is pretty neat. One good thing, the decals look fine. There's extra decals here, so with a bit of research you can put your own numbers on here and do a bit of research on the internet, find something else, and you'll have some numbers that will allow you to do it, which is a nice touch. Rather than dictating exactly what, the 2 or 3 options you can build, they give you the scope to actually do a bit of research and do something of your own. So, a final conclusion overall. As with Modelcollect's other kits based on this chassis, it's a really nice kit looking at the sprues. Lots of detail, lots of small parts, high part count for a 1/72 scale kit. But the sprues, you can see the quality of the design in both the sprues and in the booklet, in the way that things go together. Nice small steps on the booklet. It looks a bit daunting with 16 steps, but a lot of them are actually quite simple and quite straightforward and actually make life a bit easier. So overall, it's a really nice kit. It'll look particularly impressive on the shelf with the launcher elevated. Many thanks to Modelcollect for sending it along for us to have a look at.